Well, it was a pleasant surprise. First of all, I must say thank you very much and thank you for having me. And it's very nice that you're going back to the past winners and trying to get their thoughts. When I won, those were tough times for all of us. And the world was still grappling with COVID. The first round of COVID had just gotten over, and we were all in the cusp of the second wave. That's when, or perhaps emerging out of that second wave. And slowly, India was just opening up. So somewhere there was a lot of perhaps surprise, but more importantly, gratitude, because the dedication was to all those COVID warriors who stepped up beyond the call of duty to save lives. And somewhere the effort to try and be with them right in the thick of things. And I was actually on the streets of Mumbai doing a lot of the coverage during the first wave, the peak of the first wave, and when lockdown happened in our country. So somewhere it was a tribute to all of them, and perhaps the effort was worth it. So recognition of that effort was gratifying. Interestingly, I won a real TV show. It was, and I won it as Dream Job. It was called Dream Job Harsha Ki Khoj. So search for the next sports presenter. That's where it was. So it was really real TV, and I am perhaps in the Limca Book of Records in our country as the first presenter to be elected out of or perhaps come through a reality TV show. So that happened way back in 2004, 2005. So yes, it is my dream job since then. I've moved beyond sports, have come into current affairs, into politics, general news, but it's still my dream job. And somewhere I believe it was also destiny, because time and again I veered towards a different path in my corporate career. But I think destiny just brought me back and said, this is where you got to be. So that's how it is. There is a show identity. What I do on the right stand, we have a show identity where we put India first. We put matters that matter to every Indian citizen first up. So a lot of it now is veering towards foreign policy, because India's foreign posture has changed. Ever since the clashes with China happened 2020 post-Galwan, once again, India started asserting itself. With the Russia-Ukraine conflict, India has taken a position which is neutral, but focusing on what is the Indian citizens' interest. It's very easy to talk about other nations, but when we are shouldering 1/5 of the world's population, nearly 1.4 billion people, that becomes the government's first responsibility. So to try and put that India perspective that is strongly evolving, there is a dream that we have as Indians that we want to become a developed nation by 2047, when by the time we complete 100 years of our independence. I think that is what drives selection of stories that matter to society, stories about internal security, stories about crime, radicalization, real issues which perhaps could affect the very character of our society. They drive, and of course, special stories that's been done by our investigative team. Those stories get highlighted. So we try and go beyond just the politics of it and the argy-bargy between the government and the opposition of the day, but to try and get to the real issues. If your passion is your profession, there cannot be anything better. So this is my passion, and this passion is my profession. And I find myself to be a storyteller. And as an anchor, you get to tell the story to the viewer who wants to listen to the story. The story is the news of the day. The story is the exclusive news break or the development of the day and the perspective around that story. And when it is real live events that's happening, you get to tell the event as it unfolds. So once again, you are in the business of storytelling. And that's my passion. It's my skill, it's my destiny, it's my dream job. So that's why I'm an anchor. The journey of India as a nation is evolving. And what I would like to do is to play a positive contributing role towards evolving this journey. By the time we get to the end of this decade, that is 2030, India will have a resource pool of 750 million people, skill force, workforce that will become the work basket for the world. How this nation, how this skill force finds itself, roots itself to its country, the concept of nationhood, belief in us, ourselves as Indians, and the fact that we can contribute positively towards humanity and actually engineer viable change, sustainable change. Now, those are the directions that I would like to take, and I'd like to evolve the storytelling in that direction so that every Indian citizen that steps out of India or works within India contributes positively, not just to the country, but also to the world, and makes the planet far more sustainable. We leave behind something for the generations to follow to live with. 5 years later, I believe platforms will change. A lot of the story would be told on digital. We would be more a content-driven entity, where we would be a media tech entity, and media tech entity would happen not tech-driven media entities, but media which are have their foundations in tech, but it's a content-driven story. So I see myself as a managing editor of a team that is generating content that informs people, engages people, and more importantly, stands to tell the story of the country that I represent. We in sync with perhaps a larger message for the world that we can only do it together. Conflict is never the possibility. In fact, the solution is consensus, cooperation, collaboration. That's the only way we can live for the generation to come and leave something for the generations to come. So that's where I see myself 5 years from now. 5 years from now, maybe running a content shop as a managing editor, and with people who are doing positive work.